Mark Wagner here, Dental Bytes, Dentist on Demand. First time in studio in 2025, and of course, I try and just make everything all different in here just to make my life more challenging. Why do I do this stuff to myself? I am joined, I've got a guest in studio. It's my favorite thing when somebody comes and hangs out. I've known you for a while now. It's been...
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it rather than just coming outside here. So I got Mr. Rishi Sharma. And now I put Close More Leads as sort of your what you're representing, but you've represented a lot of different things. You're an entrepreneur. You kind of got your fingers in all sorts of pots. That's sort of you love doing that. I've always outside of starting off in the food service world. Shout out to Cisco Vancouver.
Yeah, right? Shout out to Cisco
So
Vancouver.
all of our old Cisco friends. Hi.
Yeah. Shout out to Kevin Boyce.
Kevin Boyce. I play hockey with Kevin Boyce. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I use just a quick shout out to Kevin Boyce. He gave me some advice long time ago.
Okay. Yeah.
He says, we're just selling groceries.
Yeah.
Rocket science.
Yeah.
And I use that till this day.
Yeah.
I'll be in a situation where it'll be stressful.
Yeah.
I'll be Kevin Boyce. Even his name is calm. I'll use his advice that he gave me to help me through the situation.
Kevin Boyce is just an easygoing, he's been with Cisco. I think he's going on his 20 years there. He just has it dialed, right? So he's just calm and steady Eddie, right?
Yeah. And I just, he gave me a lot of bases, and along with you as well too. And it's just fun, working with a lot of people and still seeing them in the industry as well too.
Yeah. But you've been one of these guys that I've kept in touch with. You were back in the Cisco era always doing something interesting. You're an entrepreneur at Spirit, and you just like to, roll with things. You're very creative too. I think you make it happen, right? You're one of those guys. So
yeah, I appreciate that. That's a really good intro. Yeah. I've done a lot of different things. I got a lot of different passions, I'd say, different interests. And, I've met you in the food service industry. I love, food, going out, enjoying a good time. I've also been in the service industry, the limousine industry, where I used to throw events and whatnot. And that's the service industry now. And I'm fast forward to where I'm now. I'm still in the service industry.
Yeah.
Just in the kind of in the shadows and whatnot. And I've dabbled a little bit in the real estate market as well too, and doing real estate marketing. So there's a lot of synergies in there, and a lot of learning curves and a lot of switches. Yeah, I'm doing a whole bunch of different things, but there's a lot of things that have failed as well too, and a lot of things that have worked, and just kind of finding the right groove. That's
kind of what you need to fail, I think. If you aren't pushing it hard enough, right? You got to fail. If you just you get into sort of a groove, and there's folks out there that like to just get into those grooves, and they're comfortable, and they sign in and sign out. That's cool, right? But not for guys like you and I, right? It's now in your journeys, everything you've done, what has been sort of the common theme? You've got a large skill set. You love creating content. And has that been a common theme across everything that you've done? Branding has been sort of, you have an eye for it, I would say.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is always been a guerrilla marketer. I always want to do something outside the box.
Yeah.
Why? Because I want whatever I do to be a lasting impression. I want people to remember you, remember me, remember what I did, or remember the service. And throughout my journey, as technology's been changing, I picked up a camera and I just started taking pictures of views, and I started working with local friends that had businesses.
When did you first pick up a camera? Is it when you were a kid?
No, actually, I picked up the camera maybe 8 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah,
not too long ago.
So, what creatively did you do before that? What was it?
Before that was just social media.
Yeah.
Marketing, meaning when I used to do events, I would have to go promote the event. If there was a nightclub and I filled the nightclub up, I need to promote to 500 to 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And I use this rule: if you promote to 100 people, only 10 people will show up.
Yeah.
You have to have that rule in place. So the marketing, creating a buzz, creating, an experience is super important. And that kind of just led to me, when Facebook first started off. I started using Facebook groups and like marketing on there and, building communities.
Yeah.
And, that's just something that's been around. And just all this other technology has changed, like look at the videos that, when I first started doing a video and putting it together, we had these HD cameras, Sony HD camera.
Yeah.
That was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how do I edit this? You had to get a couple of programs together, or we had the VHS. How you converting the VH to CDs?
Yeah.
And technology is coming a long way now.
Yeah.
You could do a lot more then, but then those ideas that you just had to figure out a way to get them out there. Like, what's the avenues? And because Facebook and the internet started coming into play, more people are online. So, visually you're out there promoting a business, then you're drawing attention. And so that's where I kind of got my spark. And I went to school, BCIT, and like the social media marketing, focus on there.
Did you get a lot of that, like garner a lot out of that? Or would you say, did you learn more just out on the front line in the trenches, or like what did school give you?
School gave me structure,
Sure.
Some of the teachers that were at the professors that were at BCIT, they gave a structure in the sense that like they were in the field.
Yeah.
So they dealt with like corporate companies that had social media problems, situations. I would do a lot of analysis. So it gave me structure, but I just have a lot of ideas, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because, okay, you got a lot of ideas. The bad thing is that there's a lot of ideas to choose from, and there's going to be a lot of, maybe something's going to work, something's going to fail, and there's going to be a lot of failures, right?
Yep.
So that really kind of like understanding what the message is. Like, what are these corporate companies doing out there, getting the message across, right? How do you interact? My family's owned a family restaurant in Abbotsford for over 25 years now. And I handle their social media. They, don't know how to interact with their customers. They'll leave a review. It might be bad or good. If it's bad, they'll panic. What do we say next? So like, how do we interact? How do we get a product out there? But, understanding how to market, how to have a message out to...
The camera's on you.
Yes.
The audience can't see what I'm doing right now. I'm being finicky, but you're handling it quite well. Thank you. Just keep going.
It's all about the message, right? Like, there are people who want to get your business out there, but need to know who you are, what you do, and they want to connect with the business. So that's never changed. And from school-wise, gave me the structure, but really you learn in the field. You learn by making mistakes.
You got to learn by making mistakes.
You have to see you really have to throw something up against the wall to see if it's going to stick.
Yeah. And I love the, having the, what's the good idea? You don't know what the good idea is going to be until you put it out there into the universe, right? Like, sometimes you just got to roll with it, and have a few of them going on at the same time, and having the backup plan. I want to get into sort of the conversation about marketing. So we kind of touched on, content. You've got your little cousin now editing film. That's awesome.
Yeah. Content is key now, right? Like, even for, he's been super interested in drones, ever since I think he was 6 years old.
Yeah. What drone are you rolling with right now?
I had the DJI, the first one, the Mavic.
The Mavic, yeah.
Yeah, and I just bought it because I was doing hikes.
Yeah.
And, when you're hiking, you want to take, the nice views and everything like that. Amazing. And I would bring it on. Every time I go travel, I'll bring it for him. And he used to be like, oh, drone. Fast forward, 2 years, he's been telling his parents, I want a drone. We did a fundraiser in the family just to, put a couple of bucks together towards it.
Awesome. Yeah.
I worked really hard to, convince his parents, back and forth. What are you going to do? And he got it, and he didn't know what to do. And I spent the time really, trying to curate, but he had his ideas. He had a vision. I want to do this. I want to take a view of this ocean like this. How do I do this? Or how can I film this? So, he has a keen interest of content. He doesn't know what to do with it or whatnot. So
how freaking amazing is it? To have this little 4K camera flying up at 500 feet to add to whatever material you're making. It's incredible. I use drone pretty much in every advertisement I put together for a dental clinic. It's such a, and BC is stunning. But I've been now across North America with the drone, right? Like I've got my little gray backpack, and we talked about like coming from VHS to like what's available now. Like I've got 4K 60 frame per second cameras in this little bag, and away you go, right? Even the mics and stuff, like the ability to put together a really stunning piece. It's in kind of an affordable affordable scale now. Like like your cousin's rolling out there. Imagine, having that as a kid, right? It's crazy.
Just having the technology, you take your content and then you have a lot of AI programs to do that. But like that's backwards a little bit. If you go back 5-6 years,
yeah,
the cameras were like the 4K cameras. Like I have a GH5.
Yeah,
that's the camera I started upgraded to 4K camera to start taping. But now the technology is right in your phone.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like I get that a lot. Like what do we like for social media? What do we do? And my recommendation to a dental practice is somebody's got an old phone. Utilize that old phone, and it's the office phone. Like all the social media channels are all the apps are on the phone, right? And that's what you use. Like honestly, the only thing that it's missing, I think, is the sound, right?
It is missing the sound with the mics now. The mic technology, how being small they are, like the interchangeable, like just being able to connect to an iPhone and whatnot, like how easy it is. So now you have that, like being able to take the sound component now.
Yes,
it's amazing how quick you can get that content out there,
and how quickly this technology is developed. Like even when I first started 5 years ago, these tools weren't available, and now, for a really affordable price, I've got like a really killer setup. I can't imagine what's going to be available in the future. In your opinion, like how important is the quality of the content? And I know it's where you're curating it, but like from what you've seen out there in terms of conversion, like actual ROI, when you're putting a piece together, putting a meta ad out there, what performs the best? And we talked about this before we got started, is, people have a radar for sort of if they're being sold, right? So what's the most important part of putting a piece of content together in your opinion? Top three things.
Number one is like, it has to be real.
Yeah.
If it's not real, if it sounds fake or anything, like little inkling of it to be like even salesy or anything, you're trying to convince me to join something. No, it has to be real. The message has to be connecting.
Yeah.
And the second thing is like, it has to be valuable information. It just can't be garbage.
Yeah.
You can't get away with garbage anymore. And the third thing would be, you got to be you. People want to connect with people that they can relate to. They relate to the business. If you have a certain persona and then you're different when they meet you, it doesn't connect.
Right.
It's a disconnect.
Yeah.
This gives you like a bad feeling.
Yeah.
So those are my three biggest things. Like if you want to make content, make it sure it connects, right? And it has a good value message.
Yeah. And
don't be afraid to make mistakes, because that's what makes us human, right? Because if you're different, let's say like listen to like an artist, or we listen to their album, and it's like great on a CD, but then when you go see them live in a concert, you're like, oh,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And same thing with like when it comes to content. If your content for your business, if you're not the same person that they see on video and camera, they can't connect with it. You're different. You're gonna lose your customer. But if you are the same person, you have content that's valuable. They like you. They're personable. They want to buy off of you. It's simple, and they're sold without being sold.
And I think that first stems with kind of identifying, who are you? Like, what are you trying to bring to whatever particular industry you're selling into, or whatever service or product that you have? Like, first, really sitting and identifying all of those things before you start. That's, I think, would you agree with that? Because like, I think people, when there's a camera in front of them, it takes some time to get comfortable with that. I remember at the beginning, like even starting off, like I've done almost 130 of these now. I remember in the beginning, like I was very kind of shy in front of it, right? And now I just be yourself, and it's become really simple to just, oh shit, all I got to do is just be myself. But if it stems down to that you don't believe in what you're doing too, there's a problem too, right?
Um, there's so much to this unpack right there, but
Yeah,
I agree with you.
unpack it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so one thing I've done in my career is like I have my real estate license. I'm part of real estate brokerage, but I really don't practice real estate. I do more real estate marketing with the real estate agents.
Yeah, why don't we let's go off on that tangent first, just so that the audience kind of knows where you're coming from.
Yeah, so I'm just coming from a background where like I've dabbled in real estate, I've dabbled in hospitality business and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I'm just doing marketing for all these companies, like just different industries.
Yeah.
And so in this brokerage here, content was growing. Like let's say 2 years ago when the real estate content was really pumping up and agents were trying to get, across, like jump on front, talk about some content, record it. But it's very difficult for them to do. So I started working with agents in my office and I realized, okay, hey, maybe I could try to make a business out of it. But it was a lot of hard work because they're not acting the same. Like what happens when you put a camera in someone's face? It change.
Yeah.
And that's not the message you want to be putting out there.
Yeah.
So I took it on like a mission for myself. I was like, you know what? This is a challenge. I need to learn. I need to do trial and error. And the way I could do trial and error was I worked with 50 different agents. I wanted to just put a camera into top agents and see what happened. Is it the script? Is it the body language? How are they speaking? Are they being of value? And it goes across for any businesses. I have my barber. We've done some great videos, but like, hey, like you talk really well. People can connect with you. But when you put a camera in place, you became,
it changes.
Shy. Like, okay, like what happened? Like, why are you all of a sudden doing things differently now, right?
Right.
But that just comes with practice and like coming with courage. It's like everything I've learned is that, working with somebody, trying to get the best out of them, is just getting them to be real and be passionate about themselves. Like, just talk and be free. And once you do that, that's the best content.
And here's like we're now living in an age where the iPhone, like obviously social media is like it's an important thing, right? Like it's as a business owner, it should be something that you should understand it's kind of going to be a part of your marketing as much as like having a good website is, right? Would you agree? Like
huge.
Yeah.
If one thing is like if someone comes to you, knocks on your door, and you're there for the business, you're doing great. But the way people buy now, they're buying online.
Yeah.
They're influenced by so many things. So not everybody's going to come knock on your door. They're going to be online. So what's the best way? If you want to have that same impression when someone knocks on your door in real life, you have to do it online. You have to do it by video.
Yeah.
And that's like, hey, this is who I am. This is what we do. We'd love for you to come in. And you're building an audience and you're building a following.
Yeah.
So when you're building an audience and following, they're already connected to your business. They want to support you. And that's that different connection. So if you have a chance to talk about your business in different avenues, online where it's at now.
Yeah.
If you're not in the conversation, you're not in the conversation.
It's awareness, right? Like it's when I'm talking to a client about the video portion of their marketing strategy, the content is top of funnel, right? So they'll see the advertisement. These are things that like folks aren't clicking on themselves. Like they're not on Google searching. It's these advertisements are placed in front of them. It's super important. Like Google's expensive, right? I think you have all of these cogs working together. It brings down your cost of conversion, right? So having that sort of that strategy from top of funnel to then what are you telling folks in terms of closing the leads then? They have like all these like the Plinko chips are coming down. Like how do they get that $10,000? If we think of like Price is Right. How do they like avoid getting their Plinko chip into the zero box? How are they like, so, for us in our world, it's the front end, right? The front end answers the phone and they're converting. And a lot of that is to do with like their software, right? I know you're a big, you love your high level, right? That's a big part of it too. What are you seeing in your travels? Like how are folks converting the best?
At the end of the day, like any lead across any like industry, if they click on an ad, they're clicking on an ad for one reason. Like they resonate with the content or that content, they have that need for a service or something. What I'm seeing out there is that like I tell real estate agents, there's a lot of like companies out there that you can get a lead from. My little cousin, 10-year-old kid, can get a lead. It's not hard to get a lead. To convert the lead, it's hard to do. And the only way you're going to do it is when someone clicks onto it, they don't know who you are. They don't know who I am. And if you want to get them, to get to know who you are, you need to have video content. People are doing their research. Like even I will do my research. If I'm going to Mexico, I'll research the resort left, right, and center. I'll research the city. I will know the whole area before getting there.
You're thumbing through the photos or video or on their website, right?
Why? Because I'm looking for my experience. I want to make sure that I'm investing into something that I'm going to have the value that I could get out of it.
Yeah.
I want to know about it. I want to research exactly, hey, if there's something wrong with it, I'm not going to go that direction, right? Same with any consumer. So if you're going to be buying something, investing into something, what are they going to do? Hey, is this a good company? There's many companies out there. There's a lot of competition, but why should I choose you? So the best way to do that is by video. Like give content. Like let them get to know who you are, what you do, what your service is, and how you do it. And if they like you, they like coming there, they like how you act, they're going to do business with you. As simple as that. So that's what really converts. And a lot of people don't understand that for their business. You need, like in this day and age now, if you're not doing video content for your business, you're doing a disservice. Simple as that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Obviously, I'm extremely biased on the subject, but I've seen it. I've seen the value of it firsthand in terms of looking at actual, in our case, patients coming to practices. It's pretty cool when, just the other day I talked with a client of ours, and we educated, like the video for us is a big portion of it is educating the public on treatment, right? So there's a treatment called an overdenture, and essentially you've got a denture, but it's put in place with dental implants, if you're familiar. Now this case is for the doctor is like a $20,000 procedure. Now you have this guy walking off the street because he's seen this video of the doctor talking genuinely, like, I'm very passionate. He's very passionate about wanting to do these overdentures. It's really cool. It was his idea as well to just go after something really niche. And when I started out on it, he was the only one. Like I looked high and wide. He's the only one in North America doing it. So Dr. Scott Jung is his name. He's a great guy. You're like, getting into real estate, it's like my mom's about to sell her house as well, right? There's a lot of moving parts involved in that. Like it's very personal. It's your house. At the end of the day, the realtors are making a good spread on the sale, right? I'm sure there's a lot of sort of, the wall build up in between sort of the seller or even the buyer and the trust, right? So the video is a good way to sort of circumnavigate that trust. Would you agree with that? Like, I think, if I'm assessing I'm trying to make some connections in between the industries here.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, listen, like if I'm going to go, let's say a dentist, I'm a consumer, right? I'm scared of every single dentist.
Yeah, exactly. This is good. Like, I want to get your take on it.
Yeah, I'm a big guy over here. I'm scared of every single dentist. My dentist right now is in Kelowna.
You go to Kelowna to go to the dentist?
I'm loyal.
Wow, that's awesome. No, you're. Who do you go see out there?
Shout out to Dr. Ramsey and Romy. They're two brothers, and they opened the practice Orchard Smiles in Kelowna.
Orchard Smiles, all right,
yeah,
cool.
So
right on.
They, they're in the farm business as well too. So they have their own orchards and bring those extra smiles to the kids. So it's nice, right? So they're good friends of mine. So I want to support them.
That's great.
But also when I being scared, I want to go work with a dentist. I'm going to do the research. Even though you're my friend, it doesn't matter. If I'm going there, I'm going to get hurt, whatever it may be. You might not do a good job. Maybe I get a fix done on my teeth and it's not fitting right or whatever it may be. I'm not coming back, even if you're my best friend.
Yeah.
Right. So even when I'm doing my research for doctors or whatever it may be, you want to know how do they do. You want to connect with them. You want to know if they're personable or not. Things have gone a long way. It's not black and white anymore.
Yeah.
If you want to win business, you want to build relationships, there's a lot more you have to do. And you do that because consumers are doing research. Like, I want to research my doctor. Like, what's going on?
And what's really super interesting, and I was blown away by this fact, is that less than 50% of the population believe reviews now.
Mm.
So now you have to build trust in a different way. Like 50% of the population still believing in the review and using that sort of as a staple in their decision that's valuable. And, don't stop collecting reviews. But then, now you have the video to kind of tie into like, okay, I get why this guy's good. I understand why this girl's good. And this is the people that I want to deal with, because like here they're presenting themselves genuine on this whatever that might be out there, this piece of content.
At the end of the day, is like good reviews, bad reviews, doesn't matter. Like it's going to be good or bad. It's going to be about your service, right? Yeah. And obviously people are entitled to what they want to say. Sometimes they will say something that's wrong. But when the consumer is looking and doing their research, they're going to look at exactly like, hey, yeah, this maybe was said, I've understood all these reviews, but now I'm looking at the business, resonating with their content, the service, it's exactly what I'm looking to do, or if it's what my need is, it's still a purchase, right? Regardless of what it is. But because you had that content for them to resonate with is why they're coming that direction.
Yeah.
Like
I lost my thought there. I had, an important piece. It just left me. I hate when that happens. No, that's not your fault. Yeah. It just happened. Damn. Just keep going. It'll come back.
Yeah, this is like back to being like a consumer. Like, when I'm going to a dentist, I'm going to do my research, right? So it's really important to make sure that you have content. Like, I want to make sure that, hey, I'm going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And any industry, like when you're going somewhere, when someone's spending money or they're in fear or they're scared of certain things, they want extra service. And they want to know that, hey, this person here has been recommended by somebody that do good things. So I'm going to be in good hands.
Referrals are massive. It came back to me. It's people they're smarter than we. Everybody's dumb, right? Like everybody claims that people are dumb, but we're not. Like we're more educated than I think we ever were. Like obviously there's a lot of misinformation out there, but I think in the most part, people are very resourceful. Like we have this device here, right? This rectangle of, it's a little drug in our pocket where if somebody wants to figure things out, they can spend 20 minutes and they've not only figured out about your business, but they flipped through several other businesses. So it becomes that much more competitive in just people's attention spans. So how do you keep people, it's like having a nice storefront, right? Like street presence, right? It's the digital street presence now that's crucial because arguably, well, definitively, this is an obvious thing. You're going to have more traffic coming to you digitally than you would, say on the street. Like not everybody has that great foot traffic, brick and mortar spot, right? Especially in your world, like they depend fully on their advertisement and things panning out because there's no, obviously there's the brick and mortar real estate offices, but as the individual is concerned, how crucial is digital presence?
If you don't have a digital presence now, if you don't have multiple avenues where your face is plastered or your business is plastered, you're going to be nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
That's simple as that. Any competitive market space, like you need to be out there. In the real estate market space, like real estate agents, they're competing against, there's so many of them, they're competing against nonstop. There's a lot of part-time agents. And there's some agents that are great, that do a great job, amazing job. And to be honest, there's some agents that don't, right? And that shows. And that will show with like service level that you get. Anything I feel like you do, like a service that you do out there, people have already bought with your content. Like before, if you have foot traffic coming in, they're coming into your store and then they're deciding to buy. Now, in this day and age, they've already decided whether they're going to buy with you or not.
Yeah. And I asked you this question in the beginning, sort of like, what do you come back to always? And it's always like telling the story, right? Yeah. Like it's such an impactful thing. And it's why I've bought every bloody gizmo and gadget to do that for what I'm doing too, because are you going to compete in the Google universe, right? Where you're thumbing through and spending, quite frankly, a lot of money on your SEO and things that, like, it's obviously super important, but I want, like, this is when I'm sitting in front of a client, it's like how crucially important the whole marketing strategy is and how everything works together. Like, we've touched on it already. So we have the marketing portion of it, bringing the top of funnel stuff with educating with the brand awareness with a video, and then having a really, an up-to-date website. Like, there's I was 2 weeks ago, or before Christmas, actually, so more than 2 weeks ago, I was talking with somebody, it was a referral, right? Mm-hmm. So I was kind of sitting down with them and finding out what they've done before and what's worked for them. And, it's always kind of the same sort of story. But this dentist said, websites aren't really all that important anymore, right? What? Nobody's looking at websites anymore. And, is that true? I don't know. I don't think so.
Website is the main piece. Like, you don't have a website, you're not a legit business, right? That's just. But
I'll always consider that, because I'll be like, okay, well, maybe, like, she was, I'll age her probably at like late 50s, and people have that sort of that, and I see this when I'm doing advertisements, who's double clicking in the age brackets. Like, it's amazing what you can see with your ads. Targeting different demographics, right? If you want certain folks to see things, and this really made me think, right? So especially in your world, you have all these people who are retiring and downsizing, and this market out there, like, maybe there's a big segment of the population that aren't looking at websites, and they're still thumbing through the physical flyers that are coming to the door. Because, like, in your world, that's happening quite a bit. Like, I'll get at the house, like in the mailbox, several realtor marketing flyers, like a week even. And that magazine where and that's got to cost, like, that's got to have some cost attached to that.
The two things I've noticed, like, I call it like traditional marketing, and then I call it like new age marketing, which is all this digital stuff. Everything's happening now. And especially for agents, like, I was sarcasm when I reach out to them. Like, did you plaster your face on another bus stand again?
Yeah,
like,
the bus stops.
How much business did you get?
But it's got to work, right?
And it
does it work?
And it does work in its own sense, right? But now things have changed.
Yeah.
Like, the older generation, they're on Facebook. They're connecting.
Right.
How can they stay connected with their grandchildren?
That's right.
In different countries.
Yeah.
How can they see? Because the grandchildren are quick to post. Like, listen, I feel like I'm on pretty good social media platforms, but there's some platforms that I can't stay up with. I got some cousins and family members. They're younger than me, and they're like quick on it. I'm still trying to catch up to them.
What's that, TikTok?
Like, TikTok I can handle, but like Snapchat, I was with it now, like, going to use it for family, but anything new, they're quick on it. Like, new gadget, new system coming up, new feature.
Yeah. They
see it right away with growth on it, right?
But this is like what I'm getting at here is sort of your marketing placement, right?
Yeah.
And your demographic.
Exactly. How you market. So, like, example, like you mentioned, like, we have in BC, we have a lot of people that are retiring, and they're got big homes, and they want to downsize, whatever it may be. They're going to be on Facebook. So we're going to go heavy advertising on Facebook. We're going to go tackle that. That's where the demographic is. If it's going to be on Instagram, we're going to have a different type of ad going on Instagram. We're going to have a different type of ad going on TikTok. We have to target people way differently. So every platform has a different type of demographic now. And if you're not on every single platform, you're not utilizing it to the full potential. So yes, you need a website. You need a place where it's like a homepage, like, all your content should be shifted into a page where they can do more research.
Are you doing advertisement on TikTok? Have you dabbled?
So with, like, I just signed a new contract with Weiswares, and in the food service industry, and he's like the king of tabletop, and he's got all the brands. So my job right now is to be a consultant, but at the same time market. And I'm trying to take an industry that hasn't been talked about. It's about plates and glasses and stuff, and then bring it to, like, the mainstream, right? Bring it onto these social platforms.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of content out there, so I feel like there's a gap. There's a niche. And so that's what I'm trying to do right now. It's like, how can I use TikTok to bring something that hasn't ever been to the forefront like that before, market it and bring excitement to it. So it's such an interesting way, but that demographic's different. And so this is rewinding back here. There's so many different platforms to kind of like work on, but every demographic's different, but you have to test it out, right? See what's going to work or not. So TikTok is on my next page where I'm just going to focus on driving business to the showroom. Like my game plan is to bring people to the showroom, but I have to draw them in, and I have to draw them in with different ways. And I know the demographic I'm going after, like those young chefs, those bartenders, so that, you know, they're looking at those nice glasses, the nice ice, like that like going out, those people that enjoy being foodies and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's the demographic I'm going after. And those ones are quick on the technology. Because like in the food industry, if you don't have like a TikTok following, you don't have, you know, people like reviewing your business, you don't really have a business. And the way those businesses are found are picture worthy, right? So if you have content, you have pictures, people are like, oh my goodness, they're eating with their eyes.
Yeah.
And they're drawn to that. So, yeah. So like TikTok is a huge thing. Like whether it stays around or not, we'll see how it's going in Canada. We're pretty
I don't
here,
know.
Right?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think they stalled it for a little bit here, but
I don't see
you
it
know,
going away.
TikTok and like, you know, Instagram, even like Snapchat, like LinkedIn, like everything has a different type of demographic. And you got to be reaching out to them, and you have to tailor your content.
Yes.
You know, if you want your content to punch and like resonate, and instead of just be like a throwaway, I call throwaways just like fluff pieces, right? Something you don't care for. But if you have a content tailored to that demographic, to that platform, you'll be able to engage more with your content, and you're building a like a community, a base around your brand.
You know what I do when I see a piece of content that doesn't really belong in a particular platform? I'll go into the comment section, and they're usually getting lit up by the community. Like, this shouldn't be posted. Like, you see that on LinkedIn quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. it comes down to, like, we talked about this, like, no one likes to be sold. Like,
yes.
I don't want to be sold. I want to make the decision myself. Me as a consumer, I've been sold on so many things before, and maybe I had a bad thing. But if I already come in sold, I'm with you. But if you are fake, if it doesn't resonate, I will call you out.
Yeah, it's like the old school, like the FABs, right? The features, advantages, and benefits. Let's talk about the features. It's better than this guy. It's better than that guy. And you're going to get this. Like, you can't do that anymore. You just can't.
No.
Because people smell that and they're like, I don't know. It makes you kind of quiver, right?
I'll take it back. Like, I don't even think you remember this. I remember working with you one time and just getting some, like, you know, mentorship off of you. And you were telling me, like, at the end of the day, I think we went through like a hard conversation with a couple of clients. And you're like, at the end of the day, I'm like, how do you continue to do business with them? And you told me it's just relationships.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So even now to this day, you know, that traditional way of relationships doesn't go away. A relationship's being made face to face, but it's also being made online.
Yeah.
And that relationship's being made with your brand. So if you don't have content that can build that relationship up, it's difficult for you to win. You know, if you are able to have content out there that builds that relationship, you can have a loyal customer. Like, I traveled 3 hours to go see my dentist. I traveled an hour to go see my barber in Abbotsford, from all the way from Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
You know, like, that's because, one, I resonate with them. I love the service. I love what their content is. And I'd love everything about them. So I'm going to tell 10 people. And if I don't, I'm like, oh, I had a bad time, or, you know what, I went there and they said this was what the, you know, food was going to look like, and it didn't look like that, or it was fake. I'm going to tell more people that, hey, I didn't really like my experience there.
So I'm going to ask you a hard question. How important is relationship? Is it still important? Do you think?
It's key. Yeah. If I want to support a brand.
But okay. I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to put it a little differently to you. So I'll use the dentist as an example. Obviously, you got a tight relationship. But what if you saw a really compelling video that kind of stated what they are all about, and it's something that you really connected with at a deep level? Would you consider trying them out for once, like just for one cleaning or something like that? I'll go in for one cleaning.
Yeah, 100%. If you are in buying mode and something resonates with you content-wise, and you feel like, hey, this service here, I can connect with it.
Or say it like in this sense, like, you saw this video and you had a tooth that was in pain, and you saw these people like, okay, I need to be like, I can't drive 3 hours. The Coquihall's snowed in. I can't fly there. Maybe that's what something you do. You fly. I don't know. But say, you saw somebody that was in closer proximity that can resolve your issue by, that they're engaging storytelling. Their genuine storytelling is like, are they going to win your business?
Yeah, they're gonna win my business right off the bat. That's how I do business. Like, if I feel someone's being fake, I will not do business with them.
Yeah.
If I can connect with them, their content or their business or whatever there is, and I'm like, okay, this is my person, I'm already sold.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, if there is a compelling video and I'm in the need of something and I need to get it solved right away, and this person can solve it, and I connect with it, I'm sold.
So, like, now this is your own personal opinion, but what are you seeing in terms of the work that you're doing and your advertisement and the things that are converting through your channels? Like, does that resonate? Does that echo through what you're doing too in your work?
Yeah, like, at the end of the day, like, working with real estate agents and doing their marketing, they're looking for leads. There's no loyalty sometimes, but the customers, the leads coming in or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to convert them is by building a relationship. The way you're going to build that relationship is having content out there that resonates with them. They're not feeling sold. You can't just call up a lead and say, hey, when do you want to buy a house? It doesn't work that way anymore, right? There's a lot of real estate agents. There's a lot of services. They can work with anybody out there. Why do they want to work with you?
Yeah.
I ask this question to agents all the time. Like, what makes you different?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think if you're pooled into just the general population of whatever service you're in, you're going to be commoditized. And you see it across like everything. Like, if you're in that general pool and you're not differentiating yourself and being something unique or niche or something that it's not easily connected with, then you're just going to be like. And I see this in the dental industry. There's like everybody and their dog they're posting about like, come and get your Invisalign treatment from us. We're going to give you $1,500 off, and everybody's putting out this very same post. And I hear a lot of my clients are complaining like, oh, I get all these phone calls of these patients that are calling in and they're just price shopping us. Well, guess what? If you put yourself in that pool, we're training people how to buy too. And if we're training people that we value the service that we're providing, we're giving exceptional quality service. Here's a testimony of everybody that's been through. It's important to us. Your experience is important to us. People will pay a more premium dollar for that. But you have to set your business up as that as well. Like, if you come at it as the commoditized guy after you claim to be this grandioso thing, eventually you'll be eaten up out there by people that will come through the door and then you won't deliver sort of. And we talked about sort of the video portion where they're different. We're seeing this different personality and different personality of the brand or the business on a video versus them walking through the door. They have to marry, they have to merge. It has to be sort of this seamless transition. I think, in terms of the video portion of things, it's your first opportunity to build a relationship with the dentist. It's a one-sided relationship, but it's the same thing. Like, you're listening to are you a podcast guy? You listen to a lot of podcasts?
Yeah, I dabble in as much as I can,
Yeah.
A little to my time.
I know. When I'm driving, I'll listen to I've got a few favorites, but what I like about a podcast is, it might be two people that are sitting there having the conversation, but it feels like you're still with them around the campfire, a part of that conversation, right? So that's how I view sort of this platform of this is why I like doing this is, and you walk through the door, there's no script today. We're just going to banter, and people probably see us bouncing from tangent to tangent.
Yeah.
But this is real. Like, I'd rather, and even when I'm going out to shoot video, to put an advertisement together, yes, I'll have like sort of a game plan of the things that I want to capture. But the less scripting that I give them, the better the outcome. Like, if somebody gets a script and they're white knuckling this script, they're sweating bullets, they're nervous about it for the entire week when they get it, You know, they're counting down the days until I walk through the door with the camera. Like, it's terrifying, right? So usually, like when I come in, I take the lead. I'm like producing it. I'm like, okay, we're gonna just talk. You know, we're gonna like. I usually shoot like for a minute long clip. I usually set up and I'm shooting for like 4 hours, 6 hours. And I'll get those beautiful little like magical moments, and I get excited when I get them. Like when I'm in front of the client, I'm like, oh, and I've sworn a couple times, holy shit, that's gonna be really damn good. That's amazing. Let's keep going. And usually the people that are really terrified about being in front of the camera, by the end of it, like they're like, let's do more when you come in next, right? So I think you know, make it a fun thing to do. Not like it can't be a chore, because people can read your body language.
It's, you know what? That's one thing I learned. Like when I was working with all these agents, I booked a day where I had like 10 people come through. I booked them like we were there for a good 9 hours, getting people to come through. And it was really nerve wracking. But what I did in the beginning was I call it a warm up. Look, I'm going to ask you like 15, 20 questions, and then we'll kind of get into like the rest, right? So that really just like broke down the barriers, made them calm, you know, like, let's just get a warm up through. And then, yeah, like, are you recording? Yeah, we're rolling just for practice.
Yeah.
But that's the best, right? And you take away of all those distractions, all those barriers, and they can calm down. You can get the best content then.
Yeah.
But yes, like you put a camera in the face, like get tight, like you said, white knuckled, start spilling, oh, what's my line? And you can be there for a couple hours just trying to put together a 30-second video, right? So it just has to be genuine and like real. And it's very tough to do sometimes. Like, what do I speak about, or what do I? So what I like to do is I like to just like calm the person down, sit down, let them know what the process is going to be like.
Yeah.
Let them know, like, you know, if you make mistakes, you know, just get the jitters out of the way as much as possible.
And so I've seen this too. Like, I don't know if you've seen this in your world too. Like the flashy like dollar signs, or like the guys walking towards the camera and you know it's a script. Yeah. The deal. Does it like, it must work because you see it out there. For me, like, and everybody I talk to, they're flipping through that stuff. Like, it's cringy in my opinion, especially when it comes to like it's healthcare. For us, it's a healthcare thing, and like I would never choose a real estate agent who is like, I'm gonna take 4% of, like, you know what I mean? Like, ooh, if you're selling based on giving me a discount, you are fucking me some other way. Like, that's my taste of that, versus somebody like, this is why I got into this industry. I'm helping people. I'm passionate about it. I grew up dreaming of doing this. And I'm like, the most important piece is like the patient. I want to take care of people. And like for a real estate agent, the client, making that a seamless process. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, a person that would have that type of advertisement versus like like the car dealership.
Well, I was going to just mention that, like, there's certain industries
that it works.
Work for.
Yeah.
Car dealerships, yes. Like we've known the car dealership industry is known for discounts. Yeah. Right? Half off or whatever it may be. But like you said, when you're going to like a service industry where it's like something to do with your health or something to do with like a big financial gain, you don't want to be doing that. Doesn't really resonate, you know, unless they're sarcastic, funny little things, but it shouldn't be your main content. It should be 1 or 2 pieces.
To me, it's like, so their goal is volume, right? When they're selling a deal, they want to just get like people through the door. It's even like a real estate agent, like that, to me, that's a long-term thing. Like, I'm going to sell now and I'll sell in the future. If I do a good job, my kids are going to be using you. You know, it becomes sort of like a referral. I'm sure like across every business, referral is like the king, the least expensive form of marketing. Like the first thing that when I come through the door is like, what do you have a referral program in place? Mm-hmm. Right. So like, what is that lead costing you? And like, yes, obviously it's about traffic and getting volume through the door, but if you're doing that type, and I'll go back to sort of the the dentist going like, man, people are price shopping me. Yeah, because you're attracting that type of consumer. So I mean, with the car dealership, it's a consumable You know what I mean? Like that, it seems like if I want to buy a car, I'm going to look for the best deal on that particular car. That would be a interesting business to go through. And like they are that's a hustle. That I used to have a really good friend that was in the dealership business, and it's a hustle, man. Oh man.
Like, let's just look at like the pizza industry, like pizza industry.
I love it because I'm getting hungry here.
Yeah. I remember being in a pizza area where there's a pizza shop across, like there was one across one street and one across the other street. One had a large pizza, cheese pizza for $7.99. So the other guy put it for $6.99.
Oh yeah.
And then, like a month later, one guy brought it down to $5.99.
It's like a gas station, right?
Right. So the other guy, how can you make money off of just like nickels and cents? You're just fighting over. But then you look, there's pizzas out there for $18 to $20.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? The difference is how you push it out there, the value, the quality you're putting in, right? And it shouldn't be about price. If you're going to price compete, then you're price competing, and it has to be done on volume. That's it.
As a sales guy, we, obviously we're like you and me are both, our career is based on starting as sales guys, right? We branched out and using all these different skill sets, but there was always that term that floated around, like you win on price, you lose on price. And that is such a short-term business model. So if it makes sense to have like, you got to make that purchase right away, and that particular patient, client, customer is going to walk through the door and make a once in a lifetime purchase, then I think it works. But if you have a business where it's kind of a revolving door, you're going to have people referring, like, you even want a good experience at the car dealership too. Like, I do want to be treated like a piece of cattle, like the limited time is $4.99. Like it's always like the bricks going out of business sale. They've been going out of business for like the last 20 years, right? Like I guess it works. It works in some industries and not in others. Like I love the pizza analogy. It's great.
I'll give you another one right off the bat. Like my barber.
Yeah,
love this guy. He started off $10 haircuts in the garage, right?
Yeah,
came in there. I think he messed me up one time, and then I didn't show up. And I moved to Vancouver and tried to find a barber out there. Cuts are probably like $50 out there. Yeah. Fast forward, my barber is like, stepped it up, got a couple of businesses, a few locations under his belt, done a great job. I travel an hour to get there. He charges me $75 now.
$75?
Yeah, like things have been creeping up.
Holy moly, macaroni.
All right, I can go to Magic Cuts. No hate on Magic Cuts. I can go there, get a $20 haircut.
Yeah.
But I continue to pay that price because what? Yeah. The service level is good.
Your hair's great. I feel bad about putting the headsets on now.
No, don't feel bad about it. Like I go in there, for me to book a service, and it's easy to do. Yeah. Every time I go in there, I feel great coming out.
You're getting a haircut, but you're paying for the experience.
I'm paying for the experience. Yeah. Like I know it's like a small detail. I feel like the younger barbers, when they do that little clean shave, I got the beard. Got to make sure the
Do you do the clean. Shave too? The shave, yeah.
So they'll do the shave, but they might not put the lotion on your face.
Oh, right.
I tell my guy, hey, my face is like sensitive. I require the shaving gel. So every time I come in, you make sure it's done. Like these little details go far away. So it's the experience that I'm willing to go that much of a distance to go do something. It's not even on the price value. It's not about the price. It's more I'm willing to pay the extra price because the service level, what the experience I'm getting out of it, far exceeds what the price could be. I've seen the prices. Yeah. I can, back to the pizza story, the $5.99 pizza is not going to taste the same as the $22 pizza.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to have a lot of different things. You pay for what you get, right? So if you're going to be competing in a price-conscious market there, you're going to pay for what you get. You're going to get not the service level. You're not going to get the quality. You're just going to get what it is. But if you want that quality, you want the service level, it does come at a premium cost.
And here's the thing too, like, and there are price sensitive people out there. So maybe have 2 tiers of service, like maybe offer that discounted price, but just make it like, listen, you're not going to get all these premium items, A, B, and C. You're just going to get C. And, that's like, if you want to save some bucks, then that's what we can do. Like options in a dental clinic, right? There's multiple ways to treat certain things in the mouth. And that's important too, right? Because there are folks like that value that experience and that service, but there are folks out there that they might not really care. They might just ditch you to drive across, like to make that drive a little shorter, and there's no loyalty there. So having a tiered system, I think, is something to maybe consider. Maybe having that $6.99 pizza and that $20 pizza, that's maybe important these days too. Especially, the economy's been pretty interesting. The interest rates and things. It's people are kind of watching their pennies more and more, right? So, like, I think, obviously you want to promote your high quality service and really take pride in obviously delivering on that too. But having those options in place too, I think, is important, right?
Yeah, huge. I like one of my advice I'm giving to all the people I consult my businesses is like, you need to diversify. You have example, if you have a high ticket item, awesome. Like keep that luxury, right? Keep that value. There are people that were looking for it. And strip it down to give still value, good quality product out there, but give a chance for people to have a stepping stone. Start off small, get them into the larger growth is wise, but don't lose that customer. Build with them.
I think that guy at the end of the day, like if you're still deliver at the highest quality, regardless if it's the low end, like see everybody as like an equal in that terms, like have pride in the services that you deliver. Crucially important. And it all comes down to sort of that, like, before you get started in your marketing journey, really sit down and spend the time to, understand what you're trying to do and really do the soul searching so then when you're out there and you're putting yourself out there, it's a genuine thing.
One of the other things I think, like being genuine and putting yourself out there, and if you do a good service, whether it be at a high, low, whatever it may be, if you do a good job and people find that value, I think if they're willing to pay whatever the price they're willing to pay for it, but they find that value, there's a karma, good karma.
Well, it turns into return business.
Exactly. So that person, even if they got, hey, you know what, I wasn't able to get that high package, but they got me into this lower package,
and they still cared about me,
and they still gave me they made me feel important. They made me feel a certain way that I could be. You know what, that response and that review will go a longer distance.
And they didn't demean me by choosing the lesser of packages. They didn't make me feel like lesser of a person. They're understanding and empathetic towards my purchase. That's what you gotta be. You can't be this like, how can I nickel and dime and just the revolving door situation,
It's different now. Like, again, the consumer does not want to just be another number anymore. People have a lot of feelings.
I think that goes like that transcends to kind of everything these days, right?
And every industry is different. Like, there's different selling cycles. There's, you want something, you can get it the next day. It might be longer selling cycles. So you want to resonate with the content. You want to resonate with the business. You want to be treated well because you will be coming back. And that takes time. Like with real estate agents, person could be ready to buy in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 4 years down the road.
Yeah.
I had a lead that I paid for online.
Yeah.
And that lead became my friend. And I ended up going to his wedding. And this past summer, he called me out. He said, hey, I'm having a baby. I need to find a place. And, that's a long relationship. And I was like, hey, I just do marketing. I don't really, sell homes. And he's like, well, I want you. So I had to get my butt in order and figure out how to write a contract for him, right? But that's a relationship.
Yeah.
That's someone who's seen me, who's resonated with me, doesn't want anybody else, but he's built that trust.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's so many better realtors. No, I trust you. Okay, let's make it happen here for you, right? So, it just goes a long way. When you can resonate or build that relationship, whether it be online, offline, you're building it online, but at the same time, when they meet you in real person, you enhance that relationship. It's like, oh yeah, I see your content or I see your services and it's great to see you and I'd love to work with you or whatever it may be. You're more prone to that. So I see a lot of that happening.
Well, there's that too. And, you go in for that treatment, that service, buying that product. And if they're seeing you again after the fact and you're still the same person, and in terms of repeat business or referrals, like, man, yeah, I should tell so-and-so they've been looking for a widget just like that, right? And so there, you've got to be top of mind, and it's got to be consistent too. Like if you're going to do social media, just don't do a post a month. Like make it a regular thing. It's sometimes the long-term battle, especially with like social media, such a long-term battle. The advertisement too, like Meta, it's not like it converts, but obviously in retargeting with the back end of Meta is crucial too. It's great. You get the eyeballs on it, and then you have that secondary ad that's like the closing ad, and the third ad that comes in after the fact, and you're warming people up through this, right? So it takes time. And I always I encourage folks to really understand what their ROI is on it, because there's not everybody that's good at it, right? And there's some guys out there that are charging an arm and a leg to do it, and they're not really converting at the end of the day. Always conversion is like, what am I getting out of this is always a big deal, right? So being able to identify, like, I'm sure you deal with this too on a regular, is like, okay,
Yeah.
I went and sat with a client yesterday, and I turned the computer around, and I showed, like, I was just fully transparent with, this is where these folks are coming from. This is where you're converting on the front end. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's a team thing.
Yeah, like on the real estate side, what I do is I produce leads for real estate agents, right? Or we give them a system to do all the heavy lifting for them. So leads are always coming in. It's always a big battle for agents. It's number one thing. But those leads, they take time to convert. You can't, like, they'll give up or whatever. They'll say something wrong. That's why we have these systems. So you have to really teach them and work with them. Having that video content is huge. Like if you can resonate with them, you can build that value with them. And people don't want to be sold. So with real estate agents, I have to really teach them. Like I told them, I sent them a video of my little brother again, 10-year-old. I said, look, I taught my little brother how to do all these things. I'm really taking a jab at them, because I can teach anybody. If I can teach a 10-year-old, I can teach anybody how to do it. It's a system and process. Once it's fine.
I don't know if it's not like a Sharma. That's like a, good genes there.
Not my genes, but it runs in the fam there. But
yeah,
just making it so simple that, like, look, if a kid can do it, you can really do it. Like I want people to understand that when I work with agents, it's not difficult to get these things happen, but converting is the hardest thing. So what I found is that I can give them everything, the best tool in the world, a Ferrari of Ferraris, but they won't know how to drive it. They won't know how to clean it. They'll crash it right away. So I give them all these leads. They want leads. I want leads. Okay, we get them leads. Okay, do you know how to talk on the phone?
Do you know how to convert them? Like, you don't.
No.
And it's your fault, though,
Yeah, well, this lead was not hot, or this lead didn't talk to me.
Yeah.
Well, we do everything process to get that lead to a level where there's a conversation. The system does so much of the work. You can listen to the calls when we book appointments. But I had an agent, been in the business for like over 25 years. Talked like the biggest game. I can talk on the phone. I don't need your scripts. When we listen back to his phone calls, it was the worst calls in the world. Like I would never buy off that person.
Yeah.
I would hang up the phone right away.
Yeah. And it's fun having like, what's the software you use for that?
So Go Ahead Level. Go Ahead Level.
Yeah. There's their call tracking is like,
it's huge. So I listen back.
Sitting down with a client, like it's not like, it's always a training thing too. It's like, this is like, we had like, and then we had this example one time where there was this patient was fully like already through insurance, was already approved for this like $20,000 procedure. And we listened to this phone call in the front end, and the front end gal just completely butchered the call to the point where it's like didn't really give this guy an opportunity to like work with them to come in to get the treatment done. This guy was like, I've been pre-approved. Like, okay, I'll check somewhere else then. Like imagine as a business owner, and this is like the training and on like there is a skill set and things to learn in conversion. Like if you talk about the website and all this digital, it's the marketing part. There's marketing and there's sales, and sales is whoever is taking that traffic and those leads and converting them into patients, clients, and customers. So that's tough. Not everybody has that.
No.
There's some people that don't like selling. It's makes them very uncomfortable. But I think that's why it's really important to sit down before you start your journey in whatever it is that you're doing. If you value the service that you're providing, then you're not selling it. Especially when it comes to like dentistry where we're in, like the more dentistry they do, the more people that they help, right? So if you come at it from that point of view and that perspective, I think that helps. But then there's those folks that like, yeah, I'm gonna make some money, right? There's always gonna be those guys out there. So anyways.
I always tell everybody, like any industry that you're in, you know, any service industry that you're in, if you do something good for your client, you know, you obviously under promise and over deliver as much as you possibly can, you'll do good business.
Yeah. And take pride take pride, man. Like there's so much like let's just consume. Like let's care about quality. Like, can we not like
100%? You want to like, I'll give you another quick example here, right? I'm a loyal person. I just told you my barber is an hour away, my dentist is 3 hours away. So in downtown, I have 2 Subway locations. There's one I always go to. Love it. Been going there for 8 years. Yeah. All right. They make good sandwiches, whatever. Went in there last time. Sandwich was the worst ever.
Oh, like, no.
I don't want to be mean to the girl or anything, but she was having a rough day. Yeah. Like you go there, there's no spinach. There's no tomatoes. It's not like we're having a drought. It's not like we have like some recall going on. Okay, it's 8 p.m. Do you have anything in the back? It was just worse. Like I was really upset. Like I love Subway. You know, my sandwich looked like crap.
Yeah, you hear this, Subway?
Yeah.
My boy Rishi hears.
Yeah. So this Subway was just like, and I told her, I said, listen, I'm so hungry. I'm going to eat this sub. But this sub does not even look eatable. Like it's just the worst ever, this whole experience. I just wanted to let her know, like, it's not you. It's whoever's left you on here. I'm not going to return back. And I switched locations. Like it's the same franchise. I switched locations because the quality is not up to par. Yeah. You know, my experience wasn't great. I still love the brand, you know. I went to a different place and they're making my sandwich like amazing. It looks like the commercial. And the other one did not look like the commercial. So for me as a consumer, you know, if like the service level is not up to par, even like I've been somewhere for a certain thing, I have that loyalty. If it goes downhill and it doesn't start connecting again, I'm not going to. I mean, this
resonates with me too. Like, you know, we can connect and understand the food service industry together. Like, don't cheap out. Like, you can taste the difference. Like, maybe, you know, obviously if that's the what you're trying to put out there and it's a quick whatever, but like quality, we don't have to dive deeper into that, but
like. The industry that I'm in right now, it's all about quality. Like I'm in the food service industry, we supply all the restaurants and then like with tabletop, dinnerware and everything. Everything that I have is on the higher end, is quality. It's like an experience, right? And if you want just like a basic plate, for sure, there's products out there that are cheaper. There might be whatever it may be, but you're in there. So with that being said, you know, if there's something that you want to spend money on, it requires money. It requires investment. Like if I'm going to be spending money on a good camera or a good mic, I might not go with the no name because maybe they don't have the sonics or the technology advancements for where I need it to be. You know, I'm going to go with something that's a bit of quality. But if my budget or my range doesn't allow for it, but I'm going to look for something that is a good, fair product and I will spend money on that. And if it requires a little bit extra money to bump up because it's going to give me that value, I'm willing to spend it.
Yeah, and people will buy the $6.99 pizza. Right?
They'll buy a $6.99 pizza. And that's fine, you know. But then there'll be that day when they're like, you know, I'm done with the $6.99. I need a $22 pizza.
Yeah, because they realize. Yeah,
and that happens, you know.
Yeah.
In my industry, I'll have people come in and be like, you know what, like we went with the cheaper stuff, which is fine. At that time, they needed it, but they realized that the value, the longevity of that product didn't last long, and they're coming back in. Great. So now let's look at the next step up, right? Yeah. And that's just consumers like try to figure out. Like sometimes. I think that saying is like, you know, you're trying to save like, or you save a penny or you're trying to save I don't even know. I'm going to butcher that off there. You may want to cut that one out.
Butcher it. Yeah, just throw it out there.
But like, you know, like you're tripping over like all this other money, like these nickels and stuff, just trying to save a penny.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like the biggest, toughest thing. Like we understand, yes, you're trying to keep your bottom line low, right? You don't want to like lose your money, but you want to invest into the right things that are going to give you longevity. Like content, video content is huge. Might not see the sale happen tomorrow, the next day, but it builds your brand. It's the growth.
Yeah.
Your service level. If you start like crapping on your service level, you're going to lose your customers, right? And people will see, hey, all of a sudden there used to be at a level 5, now this slipped.
Yeah.
This is what I expected it at.
And you could always correlate it to them like delivering a subpar experience, product, service.
Yeah. Like, like my previous dentist to my new dentist, like, yes, I have a connection, but when I go in there, my hygienist, I have a relationship with her. She knows about me. She asks me about who I am. She makes me feel at ease, even though she's in there with all these apparatuses. Like, I don't know what's going on. She's drilling away. She's like, she'll stop in a second. She'll ask me, so how's your day going? Like, and I'm like, oh, okay, like talking. And I'm like, okay. And then, like I had to get a crown or whatever done. And they took me good care of me. I was like, they're like white knuckle, just like in the chair sitting there. Right.
Yeah.
And they took me to the next room. Like, okay, we got the crown. We're just going to pop it on and do that. I'm like, okay, I'm bracing myself for like a whole thing. And then like 2 minutes later, like, okay, we're done. I'm like, what? So, already done? Like, I was super fearful. Like, you had the whole squad in there. You had the dentist in there. You had the hygienist.
Yeah.
You had I don't know all the positions, but there's another lady in there that
CDA,
was, like everybody taking care of me, And so, yes. So if I see this person's content, like their service level matches what I've experienced in real life, and I experience it like, hey, I can see a visual of it or a glimpse of it online or a glimpse into it. That's key for a business. Like, how else do you get eyes on your business without having people knock on your door? Yeah. You get them by putting your content out there and making it real and let them resonate with it.
Yeah. Rishi, man, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in today.
I appreciate you.
It's great to see you. I've been trying to get you in here for a while. Let's do this again.
Hey, you know what? You actually broke my ice. Like, it was like, scared to come on board here, Like,
I can tell you're a little nervous in the beginning.
For sure,
but, you're flowing good now. Yeah.
And that happens even like realizing you're a director behind the camera. It happens to you as well, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Like, is there any other thing like leading up to this that was top of mind that you could remember? We touched on. This has been like an hour and 20 minutes, my friend. Like
I think at the end of the day, like we talk about content, we talk about marketing, what's happening in the world, what things are changing, and what I love, like just being able to collaborate with creators and being able to brainstorm. I think that's super huge. Right now, if you want something like fresh ideas, collaborate, like really be able to work with people outside your industry, and that's going to totally change the game.
Open your eyes, yeah.
That's cool. And I think it's huge. So
cool, man. Awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thanks again. We'll do this again, Mr. Rishi Sharma.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Goodbye.